Hi, crafters, and welcome to Finish It Friday, episode 157. So, here's where we left off on Wednesday. So, we have our base card 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Of course, I am just using a 5.5 by 4 1/4 panel. A layer card 4 by 5 1/4, and you'll notice on a lot of my examples you don't see much of this. So if you want to save yourself some DSP, go ahead. Then we have 4 strips that are 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches. We have a square that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and a square that's 3 by 3. All right, so first things first, let me get my seal. Let's go ahead and put down our DSP on that card backing. All right, let's bring it down here. All right, so there we have our card base. Now we're going to take these strips. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a 3/8 of a strip. I'm sorry. Yes, 3/8 of a strip of, this is just the backing from DSP. So it's a little bit stronger. I don't even think I like it being that big. So I'm gonna go down to like a 16th. No, I'll go down to an 1/8. I'm just doing this over here on my side. Yeah, the 16th looks better. All right, so here, this is 1/16. No, it is 1/8. Sorry, it's early, guys. So anyway, and I have stuff on my mind. Anyway, all right. I got distracted. Sorry, I was looking at a text. All right, so on this, I'm going to go ahead and lay this first one down. And I think what I want to do with this is I'm just going to tack the one end down. So let me go ahead and get that little 1/4 of an inch space that I like so much. I'm going to lay down my little spacer. I'm going to tack this down. On this one, I think I'm going to go completely. And I thought about embossing the back. Oops. Make sure I have that straight. I thought about embossing the DSP, but decided that we'll just go ahead and leave it as is. All right, so now that I have that one straight down, I will finish up this. Put a little bit of seal behind that. Turn my card so that it's straight. And look at that bottom line right there. All right. Use my little backer again. Put this piece down. Now, I got a little bit overzealous there with the seal. So I'm looking to make sure that it matches up to the top and the bottom. Let's do that one last piece. I'm going to move this up a little because I have a little bit of seal on that, my little marker. And I did this, when you cut, you can always feel that there's like a ridge on one side of your card, and this is really the back side of the card. So I probably should have really put the tape on that side, because that little slightly raised edge would have caught the tape a little bit better. Let's just go ahead and go with it the way it is. All right, so then we have that perfectly spaced out, at least this way it's spaced out. let's go ahead, and I think I want it to get a big flower. Let me see what I have over here. Oh, let's see. Yeah, no, those aren't really on my cards. So let's go ahead and see. I want to do artistic leaves, but these really aren't fall-like colors because I introduced that in the pink. But you know what? I think we're going to go for it anyway. I'm going to do it the outside of the leaf in green. I'll do that inside with this light burgundy-like color. We'll see how that looks. All right, so let's get garden green, and let's get Blackberry Bliss. But we're going to stamp Blackberry Bliss off once, I think, just because it's such a strong color. All right, so let's get this a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit up because I want to put a word underneath there. So I'm going to put one of these words underneath there. So let's kind of angle that a little bit. And then let's go ahead and do that Blackberry Bliss. And don't throw your block into the stamp pad, and if you do, wipe it off. That way you don't get ink on your hands. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up. Sorry for the loud noise. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this under here because I don't want to get the chance of putting my hand in that. I'll clean it off later. And then let's get this all lined up. Hopefully I don't get my head in the shot. All right, I was a little off. Maybe I should have got my head in the shot. All right, let's try this again. Let me do this one first, because I usually do stamp the inside first. And now let's go with that green. Oh, I hear my husband coming back from his walk. Yeah, he still walks even after we lost Finn. He still goes out and walks every morning without him, and sees all the old, the other buddies he used to see when he would walk with Finn. All right, that was much better. All right, so now I'm going to take one of these sayings and let's do. This one should be able to fit, I think. Yep, that fits just perfectly on that. This one I'm going to do with straight Blackberry Bliss. There you go. Just bring that up so you can see that. Oh, I do have a little bit of Blackberry Bliss there. Don't know where I got that from. Let me make sure I'm doing the right side. Yes. All right. Putting this on my card base. I'm going to bring it over. Oh, you know what? I should have done the green first. So it would have been green, burgundy, green, burgundy. Just because now that, oh my goodness, that burgundy is going to fade. Wow, I've never had it rip my card like that before. That green is going to, look at that. Strong tape. Let me see if I can do that without ripping it more. Yeah, it would have, to me, I would have liked to have had that burgundy in that line. Didn't think quite ahead on that. And then I use these holographic resin dots. I have to look to see, the last chance list came out. So quite a few items are getting removed from the online exclusives. So I need to see if these are gone now. Those back up in there. So there we have our card for today. All right, let me show you my other two cards I made. Here's this one here. As you can see, you can't see hardly any of that designer series paper. See, the designer series paper is that background DSP from the Settles. So I use the strips to make a frame. This is my 3.5 by 3.5. I'm sorry, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 square. And then I took the 3 by 3, cut it in half. This was basic white. I just laid it on my basic beige pad, and then did the same with the other portion, which I did in Granny Apple Green. Cut it in half. I have foam underneath there. Cut that half of the 3 by 3 square in the middle, and then edged it out. So essentially I took the 3 by 3 square, made it 2 3 by 1.5, and then took one of the 1.5s and cut it in half again the long way and made a tag out of it. Like I said, you can barely see any of that background paper, but it's under there. And I should have probably edged these pieces so they would have shown up more like a frame, but that's what we did on that one. This one, I went 2 and 2. I took some old retired designer series paper, cut the strips. It's out of a pattern, so I kept the pattern going. Took that 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 square, cut it diagonally to put it in the corners here, and then put the 3 by 3 square in a diagonal position on top. And like I said, you can barely see hardly any of that DSP underneath, just here on the sides and here. All right, guys, there you have it. There's episode 157. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Share on your social media. Send me a comment. Most of all, have a great Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.